Namaste, and welcome to the new Soul Horoscope SUPERscope. My name is Christopher Witecki. I'm a modern mystic and I'm a soul biographer. I'm here to help people put their spirit and story together and understand why they're on Earth and why they're in the planet Earth situation and how to make the best of that situation. That's what I do. And you, I'm assuming, are a Sagittarius or a Sagittarius rising. And I also have another term for you now. I call you a step 3. That's because I'm kind of a different astrologer. I'm going to look at astrology from this point on from the step perspective, which is that really each sign is one step of living on Earth. We all have one step down. And one interesting thing about your step is you like to learn other steps. So that's like your way of avoiding yourself. And Sagittarius always do that. They avoid themselves by learning everything about everyone else. And really it's about learning about yourself, identifying about yourself. But you are step 3. And step 3 is great because the third step is right after you've come to realize that there's 2. And now that you realize there's 2, wow, this means there might be a party if there's 3. If there's 3, there can be 6. If there's 6, there can be 9. And, you know, 3 is the magic number comes to mind, that song, you know, because Sagittariuses are multipliers. They always add 3 to the party. So they're like 3 people in one. And you might go, what about Aries? Aries is 9. Yeah, Aries can be heavy. By the way, I'm a Taurus, I'm a 10. So I'm very heavy. So Sagittarius are actually light, but they're like a light multiplier, like a sugar molecule. And that's the Jupiter juice, the Jupiter drops of life and the potential of unlimited possibility. Because if you just open up that 1/3 possibility, that 1/3 perspective, or if you weigh it into a third person's opinion, then that kind of creates a triangle. And that triangle is more stable than just 2, right? 4 is even more stable. So you are the step 3. Now what does that mean? It means you're going through hell right now. No, I was kidding. No, it does mean you're going through hell right now because we all are. You know, the truth is that this is a real difficult one. In some ways, this is a time to change your story. Right now, for the first time in a long time, you have the potential to change your financial life and to change your manifestation, says your astrology. But it requires that you have faith in yourself a little bit premature than you expected to have faith. So you're kind of back in a past life situation, really. And the difference is like for most of you, depending on what your age is, most Sagittarius have probably come to the point where they last left off in their last life, or at least for the last time you were poor or the last time you failed, and in the past life, not this one. Doesn't even matter for this one. This one just happened because of the last one, still haunting the memory. And when you're a Sag, which is a storyteller, and all you do is tell stories or remember stories, trust me, Sagittarius are plagued by subconscious stories in their head. And with Saturn and Scorpio, you are getting rid of those subconscious stories. You are rewriting those subconscious stories. And right now, that can be written as faith. When you have to have inner faith, despite the fact that you have the queebies or the heebie-jeebies about something, and you know the heebie-jeebies is for no good reason, like you've done all the math, you're safe, that's karma. That's where you have your past haunting your present. And that's why we even pay attention to karma. Not because we can go back and change it, but because it is haunting us. I have to drink during horoscopes now. One of the simple things I learned, it's like, well, you can do a 20-minute take, Chris, but you need a sip of water. See? So let's take a look at the Sagittarius and what they're doing this week, because it's pretty important. What you're working on with Capricorn is raising your soul capital. It's time for you to decide that you're worth more. And you will not draw on the opportunity really and close the deal until you decide you're worth more to begin with. And this week, the universe is going to ask you if you can decide or not. So you have to ask yourself, are you ready to gamble on yourself? That's what it is. The universe will say, okay, can you gamble on yourself? Are you going to guarantee this spiritual check? Now in the past, Sagittarius have said they could and they couldn't. But that was a different day. It was a different day because you weren't really listening to your heart at the time. It was a different day because you were pretending to be somebody you're not in society. So now you are who you are. And now your heart knows what it really wants. And so now when you gamble on yourself or bet on yourself, you're going to have better odds of winning. In fact, the universe says you will win. Winning! That's a Charlie Sheen moment, by the way. Oh, back to the rainforest. So on Sunday and Monday, you are let's see, how do we put this? You are kind of needing a rest. So Sunday, Monday, you're kind of pooped. You need a rest. You need to ground and recharge and get back to yourself and get back to your healing, get back to your home, get back to your family, get back to your kids, get back. But then Tuesday, boom, you're back on your feet and your inner child is excited again and you're back ready to run. So Tuesday and Wednesday, yippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay, that's kind of the feeling. Why? Well, because you're, I think, being empowered. I think what's happening here for the Sag and Sag risings is the universe is giving you probably opportunity. At the same time, it's probably not very, very, very clear how it will turn out. You really are going to have to decide and bet on yourself. So that's really what, oops, wrong button. That's what Wednesday is the decision to bet on yourself. And the good news is your inner child is very excited. So you tend to leap before thinking. I don't think you'll make the wrong decision. Oops, like I'm making the wrong decision with my graphics. Here it comes. Phew. Sorry, guys, if you're hearing all kinds of weird sounds, my bad. All right, this is the button I actually wanted to do. 5. Thank you. Sorry, I'm all thumbs here. But green thumb. So at the end of the week, we're going to manifest new. Now notice it's K-N-E-W. K-N-E-W means that your heart knew it, but it's new. It's something that's brand new, but it's something you knew. Paradox, yes. Yes, says Yoda. And you want to love and trust. Now, the moon is in Taurus, so emotions are going into daily reality. So really, you're actually making it happen, maybe doing something to make it happen Thursday and Friday. And then Saturday, you are feeling like kind of coasting into relationships and whatnot. So I think you start on Sunday and the way you end on Saturday, totally different. I think this is one of those weeks where between the whole week, your life changes because you make a decision somewhere around here to go with a new direction in your heart, which is a direction of deciding you're worth more and then gambling on that or betting on that, as I like to say. It's not really a gamble, it's just you're betting, which is always the case anyways. Who are we kidding? So let's take a look at consciousness. Consciousness is really a stairway to heaven. That's the truth. We get dropped off out here by God, and then she forgot to pick us up. The school bus never came back. So we're going to have to climb up the stairway to heaven. And as my sensei says, the stairway to heaven is single file. You meet your friends and family on the other side. We do not bring our family or anyone. God, universe only lets one in the gate at time, so to speak, and that is heaven on earth, and it's found through your kingdom of love in your heart. Now that said, where do Sagittariuses fit in the conscious stairway? Well, there are step 3, I believe. I believe is what you are, step 3. So a Sag is capable of believing or not believing in themselves. And Sages usually have not been believing in themselves lately because they didn't have money, or they didn't have proof, or they didn't have a Porsche, or they didn't have a pretty wife, or they didn't have a pretty husband, or they didn't have something in the world that proves that what they believe in is true. They didn't have proof for their belief. Well, you know, when it comes to being a belief maker, there's very rarely any proof. People have to find their own proof. And so the proof is that your heart knows it's true. Look at the steps. 0 is I protect, 1 is I love, 2 is I feel, 3 is I believe. So the third thing we do on earth is we believe. We believe it after we what? Have protected it, loved it, and felt it. So the question is, have you protected what you don't believe in? Have you loved what you don't believe in? Have you felt what you don't believe in before you ask yourself if you believe? That's the thing. You can't skip steps. And so protecting, loving, and feeling come before belief. And this is why I show you this cute little escalator into heaven. So we're going to talk about how do we maintain our integrity. And I have a simple philosophy that I have adopted and borrowed from the raver and party community. I think the Sages are well familiar with this. This is no surprise. It is the PLUR reality powered by PLUR. Peace, love, unity, and respect are the 4 words that I think will simply create world peace on the planet. And that's my particular agenda, is to help world peace ensue. I think none of us should be fighting. I dislike violence. See, I'm doing my part. But what this comes down for the Sages is, and everyone, is how to live in that moment. Excuse me. You talk as much as I do. So peace. Peace out, man. So what's peace? For a Sag right now, if you squabble on what you're worth, you're not going to be in inner peace. And really, peace comes down to finding inner peace, and then when you find inner peace, you attract outer peace. So it's important to maintain and find our inner peace. And I think the areas that come to mind right away with the inner peace are, one, the inner child is not satisfied for the Sages. So Sages are very jumpy and impatient and they're not in inner peace because they're not getting what their heart really wants. They're also not yet what they want to be in society. So Sagittariuses are a little jumpy there in their Innerverse, but that's where you're letting your outerverse, who you are in society, that's your outerverse, you're letting that affect your Innerverse. Okay, so we have to let us come first, the inner, then the outer. That's the order in which, that is, we are the chicken, reality is the egg. Okay, and I have a friend who talks about this, but it's like, yeah, if the egg came first, it wouldn't ask the question. You know, it's like, it can't ask the question. Clearly, the only one is the chicken comes first because it's asking the question if it came first. This is one of the paradoxes of fun. But the point is this. In the birth order, you came first, and then everything you want to do on earth came after, so you do come first. And that means that peace is when your innerverse comes first, and then your outerverse will attract peaceful situations, will attract peaceful people. So if everything is chaos, go into inner peace. When you wake up, everyone will be so bored at your party, you'll be at peace. All right, so love. Love is my favorite one, of course. You remember, notice that you have to first have peace before you add love. A lot of people try to add love to a non-peaceful situation. They're like, oh, if I just love it. It's like, no. We don't just love it to make it feel more peaceful. We work on being peaceful, and then we add more love on top of it. And we can use love to generate peace, but we can use a lot of things like shutting up and stuff like that. So when we love our innerverse, then our outerverse loves us. So people who want to be loved need to go home and love themselves, polish their own mirror, put into their own shrine. Like, this is your shrine. The secret is taking care of your own heart. And so for the Sages, this is the part of you that feels so unfulfilled. Well, you have not. You've been kind of just hoping for your heart to be fulfilled along the way, like hoping to find your true love or to find your personal dreams in like a thrift store in Tahiti. And you know what? That's not the way it's going to happen. You're going to have to consciously sit down and decide what you want, what you're worth, and actually take steps towards that. And then you might find that person in Tahiti, in a Tahiti thrift store. But it'll be because you told the universe that that's what you wanted and that's where you wanted it, and you were decisive and clear, and your heart felt it, and your innerverse was full of love about it. That's why you drew him or her in. So love is super, uber important. Unity. Unity is not fighting with yourself. So you have to accept and receive. You have to be self-compassionate. You have to be self-merciful and not make things hard on yourself. When we make things hard on ourselves, we think we're making other people happy. See, that's where our innerverse is being ruled by our outerverse. So if your outerverse is saying, oh, mom and dad will have pity on me if they see me all disrupted, you're letting your outerverse rule your innerverse. Somebody probably... So, excuse me, but your innerverse is one where you want to be unified. So you can't really have a devil and an angel inside of you. One of them has to actually be officially winning. Okay? That way you have unity. And when you have unity, at least people who come to you have unity too. And when they have unity, you guys can unite. And when you can unite, you can multiply. And you multiply, it turns into abundance. So you must be unified in order to be abundant, because you can't start multiplying when you don't have a solid unit inside of your heart. Then lastly, respect. Respect is respecting the boundaries of the unit. Okay, so that means that it's like, okay, I can only go so far. I can only do so much. This is where my limits are. Or if it's like you told yourself you're not going to go to bed at 2 a.m. and then it's 2:30, it's like you have not respected your own innerverse. You haven't respected your own boundaries. And so you wonder why your friend calls you at 4 a.m. drunk. You draw in people who don't respect your boundaries because you don't respect your boundaries. And you maybe over-respect your boundaries to the point where you don't respect opening up. You know, I actually think being closed down is disrespect of your own boundaries too. Boundaries, by nature, open and close like a door. Okay? They're not, I don't think, cement things. You know, I think that everything moves because consciousness is changing. The universe is expanding, so your boundaries have to be expanding all the time too if you're opening up to the universe and you're opening up to love. But the only way to trust boundaries is to respect boundaries, and then over time you trust them. So I think this is the faith issue for Sagittariuses, is they lack faith because they let things slide too much. And because they let things slide, they end up not having faith, and that's because they're not respecting their boundaries, and then people aren't respecting them. And people are sliding on them. So this is the secret to, I think, their universe. Now, I want to wrap up real quick to tell you what I got at soulmart.me. If you want to dive in a little deeper, believe it or not, I have the Megascopes available for $11.11 at soulmart.me. You can get them right now if you navigate there. And these will come out every month, so I'll have Aquarius up here shortly, and etc., etc. I'm going to get ahead on these because I like getting my homework done early. If you'd like a reading with me, I'll give you a free 15-minute follow-up, and I'll only charge you $99 for the rest of this month. So come on down to soulmart.me if you'd like to have a reading. Book me in advance, and you will see how much fun it is. And then lastly, I'm announcing a new service for girls called GA Venus for single girls. We're going to have basically a service that watches over women on Earth, and we've got a great amount of content and great help. A lot of people ask, what happened to Soul Garden? Well, we are reorganizing into one of the things, GA Venus. So ladies, if you want a free 1-week trial, come on down to gavenus.com. I will give you a free 1-week trial. No cost, no hang-ups, etc., no hooks and that sort of thing. So come on down and see what it's like to be watched over by some great people, a lot of personalities coming on board this to make this happen. All right, Sag, that was a good 15 minutes, but I was gone for what, 6 weeks, 7 weeks? I had to give you something good. This is your birthday and Christmas present, unfortunately. But I will see you in 7 days nonetheless. Until then, live, love, be.